Hey guys, so solving inequalities is very similar to solving equations, except for one minor difference. Okay, now basically just to illustrate the difference, if I have an example just on the side in pink, the number 3 and the number 2. When we compare these two guys, it's obvious that 3 is greater than 2, right? But if we apply a negative to each of these numbers, suddenly the one that's bigger is the minus 2. Okay, so this is the fundamental difference between solving inequalities compared to equations with an equal sign. Okay, so basically if you have a situation where you are multiplying or dividing by a negative, then we have to just flip the sign. Okay, hopefully we can flesh some of these examples out. Okay, so over here in the very first question, if I just get rid of this, we have a very simple solve. So 6d minus 5 is smaller or equal to this one on the right hand side. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to expand the right hand side bracket. So let's say 6d minus 5 is 9d plus 12. Now I'm going to subtract 6d on both sides and say minus 5 is 3d plus 12. And let's subtract 12 to the left hand side. And just to make it look a little nicer, I'm just going to flip everything around so that I have my pre-numeral on the left hand side. Not super necessary, but recommended. And so to solve, last thing is I'm going to divide everything by 3. Okay, and this is the solution. Okay, so we'll leave it in this fractional form since they didn't specify whether they want decimal place or in exact value. Okay, so that was just the first example. So hopefully that was all nice and easy. Now if you move on to the next one, let's say question 2. Let's try this one here. So 2x plus 9 is smaller than 1 minus 4, x plus 1. So again, like we did in the last question, first thing I'm going to do is just to expand all the brackets. So say 2x plus 9. Now when I expand this bracket, it's not just 4 times the bracket, but it's negative 4 times the bracket. Right, so negative 4x and then negative 4. Okay, so 2x plus 9 smaller than 1 minus 4 is minus 3. Let's move all the x's to the left hand side and move all the numbers to the right hand side and divide by 6. Cool. And then this is the answer for question 2. Okay, so those two were very similar questions, just linear inequalities. Let's also look at inequalities that involve fractions. So say this one here. So we got 2x over 3 minus x minus 1 is greater than 2 on 9. Okay, so if we have a bunch of fractions, one way we can take care of it is to find the common denominator. Okay, so we have 3, 2, and 9. Okay, so maybe we can just multiply a number at a time. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to multiply everything by, let's say, 9. Okay, so there's no one way to do this, but I'm just going to pick 9 and say, okay, 9 times this, and then 9 times that. Okay, I picked the number 9 because it takes care of this divide by 3 as well as this divide by 9. Okay, so let's try this. So let's say this one and this one cancels out to be 3, right? So we're left with 6x. And over here, I'm going to say we have just 9 on 2, x minus 1, and we just have 2. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. And at the very end, I'm just going to now multiply everything by 2 to get rid of this denominator. Right, so let's say 12x minus 9, x minus 1, and 4. Okay, so now it's a very similar situation to the last two questions. So minus 12x, let's expand everything. Collect the x's together, 3x, and move the 9 to the right hand side, so minus 5. X is greater than minus 5 on 3. And that's the answer to that question. Cool, so nothing too crazy there. Okay, so just linear inequalities. In the next video, let's go through some ones that are not linear, but quadratic inequalities as well. Okay? All right, thanks. I'll catch you guys in the next one.